Good evening, everyone. Welcome to FGM eCast for your Tuesday night for the final time in 2021. And we are here back with the AUSPROAM Sim Series for the series finale. What other place would we be at than Mount Panorama Bathurst? We saw the V8 supercars running on the weekend, but we've got a very different affair here. Qualifying just getting underway now for Pass 2. We've got our Enduro end to the season here. So let's get stuck into qualifying. Have a look at how our drivers navigate their way around for the last time. As I expected, there would be a couple of drop-ins for this last round. Being Bathurst, you'd expect that we would see a relatively strong grid here for the end of the first season, and we do. So managing lap traffic, or managing traffic I should say, is going to be the difficult thing for our drivers to do here as they navigate their way around a qualifying lap at this very, very famous circuit. As we saw some fantastic racing here over the weekend, as I mentioned, in the V8 Supercar Series. GT's maybe back here next year as well. We've certainly got the Bathurst 12 hour in February or March next year, so that should be a good one. But anyway, we digress. We're getting away from the real reason we're here tonight, and that is to bring to a conclusion this season. Of course, simrigs.com on as the primary sponsor for the season. Phoenix Smokers Computer Technology Corporation, 93PC HJ Plant Repairs, and of course Echuca Toyota, all on for this season, and it has been an absolute cracker. You can certainly see that next season, next year, is going to be an even bigger event, with the main series qualifying so close, so hard to get into. But this secondary series Pass 2 has remained strong throughout. Jesse Butler on screen now. Jesse's first time racer, long time participant in iRacing. He'll be strong here tonight. He's decided to jump on board some Bavarian power as he launches his attack. I think this may even actually be his first drive in the AUSPROAM Sim Series. Of course, you would have seen him on our channel before with the Australian Endurance E Championships that were running last year. Joins us tonight for the first time. So you can probably tell, I'm just trying to get a couple of things done. I've got to get the other Pass 2 up on screen as well. Have a driver back into the mix is Reese Ashmore. Even he's jumped in for this final round. Of course, Bath is very popular amongst the drivers as well, particularly in these cars, because they handle and brake and do all the things that the traditional weapon of choice around here doesn't do, the V8 Supercar. So, won't be a hard end to qualifying tonight because it is not a heat. So they should get a at least 2 full laps in. Key to it is getting that banker lap in. You want to be starting towards the front. You don't want to get caught in somebody else's incident into turn 1 and run up the mountain for the first time. Cold tyres can be a very difficult place to navigate on that first lap, particularly when you have drivers around you who want to get by, make their way up to the front of the pack. So at the moment, Jesse Butler has gone P1 provisionally. He will be a difficult customer to beat. Okay. Back into it. Sorry about that. Got everything done now. We're good to go. Ready for the switch over to the main game straight after this one. So practice has commenced there. So 2 championships to be decided here tonight. And so far, looks like we've only got 4 drivers who have set an official lap time, with Jesse Butler the fastest of those. A 2:04.57, if you don't mind. Interesting to see how this compares to the main game, to the Pro-Am. See what times they're doing as well. But as it stands, Jesse Butler on provisional pole. Blake Urquhart's got a 2:06.26 in. Brett Barker right behind him with a 2:06.3. Andrew Goldman's popped up with a 2:06.59. Hendrik Krasinga, 2:06.77, and then a 2:08.75 from Patrick Panton. There's more drivers now just start making their way across the line. You can see it there, top left-hand corner of the screen, getting the job done. It's a cracking time in that 2:04 in the BMW. We haven't seen much love for the BMW in Pass 2. At the moment, it is a good mixture up the front with BMW, 2 Ferraris, and the Lamborghini, McLaren and Porsche. So Nathan Verney in the Audi down in P9, so he's got a little bit of work to do, but he's only done 1 lap so far. Got a banking lap in. So can Jesse Butler improve? This will be his last flying lap here. What can he put down? Can he improve? Can anyone else improve? John Baldwin's out on track. He's just about to come around and complete his first flying lap. Probably livery of the year, that one, certainly for Pass 2. And as John go, doesn't look like there were any incident points there, but the lap has not counted. No, there it goes there. But yeah, unfortunately that one not getting across the line. Must have been an off track. West Ashmore's completing his second flying lap. Let's have another look at Jesse Butler. Where's he? He's on the climb up the mountain. It's down towards the grate. BMW's looks very, very settled. He's close behind him. They look at those margins: 1.2, 1.5, 1.6, 1.8, 1.9. We're very, very close. Sounds like Butler there just grabbed a little bit of the wall, so that lap, this lap may not count, and that will be it. He will not get another lap started. Thanks for joining the stream, Pat. So far, Jesse out in front. So all these laps will count. All these drivers have managed to get their way across the start-finish line. Andrew Goldman, he'll get this lap in. Hayes, Ben Pollock, so a number of the drivers still out to complete a lap. Oh, he's left his run too late, you'd think. Butler's gone across the line. He has made it better, 2:04.27. So he has improved the margin, and this next lap will count. He's got it around just in time. So can Brett Barker challenge? He's done a 5.8. Big amount of time to pick up. I think it's going to be difficult. And at the moment, the sector's all down. So that one's not going to be the one. Blake Urquhart looks like he's going to improve on his flying lap. As he pulls that off to the track, and he does indeed. Jumps straight up to P2 with a 2:05.73. Barker comes across the line now. Can he pip him at the post? No. Doesn't look like his last lap counted, so must have copped some damage on the lap. Now Nick Buxton, what can he do? Josh Schultz doing a good job. Reece Ashmore up in 3 of the sectors as well, so a couple of drivers looking to make the late challenge. Buxton aborts the lap, so that is all done for him. Jump on board. Josh Schultz, there he is, just done a good job. He jumps straight up into P6. And that's a good result. Didn't look like he'd got a clean lap until then. Reece Ashmore jumps up to P12. Ben Pollock. Looks like he's making his way and he's crossed the start-finish line. A little bit of damage to that Ferrari there. So that brings qualifying to a conclusion for the final time this year. The Pass 2 series on FGM eCast. That time of year, do need to throw a big thank you out and apologies to everyone for last week. Unfortunately, work this time of year gets ridiculously busy and just not able to make it out in time to get here to get the stream up. So, but we are here for the finale. It's the important one. A little bit of a look of the rundown of the points as we get through this endurance race. We'll just wait for things to flip over here before we get the grid up on the screen. And you can see who is going to start where at this track. So a couple of drivers just getting around. Point of comparison for lap times. Fastest so far in practice in the Pro-Am, 2:03.08 for Jack Witter. So effectively a 2:03 flat. That's in the Mercedes. So interesting to see how far down they can push it. Of course, remember this is a fixed series. They're all on the same set in terms of low, medium or high downforce options. Basically, that's what they run. There will be some fuel restrictions as well tonight, so watch out for the stop. It is a 70-minute race in our feature event with the Pro-Am to come straight after this one. And it looks like we have ticked over here. Alrighty, let's get into it. Let's have a look at the grid as I start to get out on track. Round 10, Pass 2. And it wouldn't be the stream if we didn't start at the back. It's Jesse Butler, maiden pole position. Mark 1 Esports entry with Blake Urquhart next to him. And it's Brett Barker and John Baldwin on row 2 with Nick Buxton and Jay Schultz off row 3. Then Liam Caplice, Andrew Goldman off 4 with Hendrik Kazinga and Andrew Hayes off 5. Then it's Ben Pollock and Reece Ashmore off row 6. So we head over the page. Patrick Panton, Nathan Verney off row 7 with Shane Mahoney and Nathan Gardner off 8. Then Rodney Hobbs, Isaac Edwards off 9 with Gordon Smith and Jason Dunn rounding out the 20 starters for the final round of the AUSPROAM Sim Series here on FGM eCast. Turn the picks off there. It's okay. I'll do a very short warm-up. You can see where they are there, just on the entrance into the chase. So the Porsche safety car will set off imminently. And we'll get a look at this field as they make their way around the track. Carl. Absolutely, I know nothing about Zolder. Not even sure what country it's in, but that's okay. I'll see you a little bit later on with your quiz. Mount Panorama might stand a chance. The final quiz of the year as well, so just stick around for that one. Alrighty, we're off and running. Safety car's decided to make its way off. Jesse Butler pole position on the right of screen as you're looking at it in that fantastic livery. Mark 1 Esports team, fantastic liveries they put together as well. If you can't half tell, I don't mind a good livery. You haven't been watching the stream because I talk about them all the time. Anyway, the start here is going to be very, very important. Watch out. Turns 2 and 4 as they make their way up the climb up the mountain. Pace car there, just safety car there, just pulling in very late indeed. Actually, probably deserves a penalty himself. Anyway, things are about to get underway here on the final round of pass 2 as we go, and we're off and running. Jesse Butler gets a good start. Looks like we're 2 or 3 wide in the background in the head down as they head down into turn 1. It's a long race, gents. There's no need to rush as we're 3 wide, and there's an incident in the background there. There is a big incident in the background there. You've got to make it through, and it looks like the majority of the drivers have done very well to get through there. Good driving from the rest of the field to clear it. I think it might have been Reece Ashmore there who was in the biggest trouble. He was right in the firing line. But, they got bunched up right at the start there. And just down, you can see here, into turn 1, Completius gets a hip and shoulder as well from John Baldwin as he tries to make room. Doesn't look like too much damage done there though, as they continue to charge up the mountain for the very first time. Gets wide on the brakes there, Baldwin. Just locks a little bit in the rear. Puff of dirt coming up from that right-hand rear corner as he now has Liam Caplice to deal with. But it is Butler early on as they head across the grate. He has a hard charging Blake Urquhart who's driven really well this season right behind him. And he'll be wanting to stick with him in the Ferrari. Try and use that huge BMW to punch a big hole in the air for him as they make their way down the mountain for the first time to run through the chase. It will be where he will be trying to make a move if he can. Got to try and keep up with that big, bad, bustling BMW of Jesse Butler though. The exit out of this corner makes the lap. You get out of there poorly, you get penalised all the way down Conrod. Meanwhile, back in the pack, looks like things have settled. Just making their way through. A little bit of a traffic jam at the start there. We'll go back and have a quick look at the start. Very easy as well under cold tyres to and cold brakes as well to outbrake yourself into the chase. It's Butler here, looks to defend. Urquhart's just going to have to keep up with him here. There's a long race, 40 minutes. He just needs to stay in touch. He gets out of the draft, that is when Butler will head away, but he does lead us through that first lap in a very rapid 2:09.2. Not bad for us, the effective standing start, rolling start anyway, in this category. Let's go back quickly here, and we'll just have a look at this incident with off the start. So you can see it as just we're watching Jai here, as you can just get down, I don't think he sees the 10, and Jai actually, unfortunately, the innocent bystander in all of that. I'll just go back here and have another look at this. From on board, we're on board at the moment with Reece Ashmore. In fact, it's gone back to Jai Schultz there. Now we're on board with Ashmore. You can just see he's come around the corner here. Just managed to pull the Ferrari up in time to get through the traffic without any damage. As the drivers behind resurrect their evenings and head back out onto the track. There's some good driving there from them to avoid making that worse, but at the moment that gap has opened up at the front of the field. Oh, it looks like there's been a huge incident. Well, we're going to have to go back and have a look at this as well, unfortunately. Let's see what's happened here. Looks like Liam Caplice may have had an incident. Oh, he has there. I think they've just got hip and shoulder into one another, and he's in the worst possible position. And, yeah, that's not good. He should have aborted that one. He's just sat smack bang in the middle of the track and has blocked it. And that has caused a huge, huge incident. That is not good at all. They're on board now. They just got up the inside here and just got closed down on. And he's sitting here at the moment. He's probably looking at his relative thinking, I'm not really sure what to do here, but you can see what ended up happening. There was a big pile up. And you can't be driving the wrong way down the track either. So, track blocked. Andrew Hayes, media car there. I think it was maybe up on the roof of another car. So, that is not great. Anyway, these guys do all have a fast repair. So that if they can make it back to pit lane, they will be able to get that done. And keep going for the night. Thanks for joining the same stream, Seb. Mike's doing a good job at the moment. He's in second place. Having qualified there. Off to a good start. Jesse Butler's just stretched things at the moment. But, he's got a little bit of air around him. A number of drivers in the pits, unfortunately. 5 as we speak. It has stretched things at the front, but status quo remains. It is Butler, Urquhart and Barker in those top 3 positions. Someone just jumping back out of pit lane and will be required to stop. But around by 20-minute mark, we would expect halfway through everyone have made that stop. It'll be earlier than that. Yeah, but great idea on the fuel numbers yet here today, but we'll get a good measure of it from this race. We'll do some updating of the signage around Mount Panorama now. It's changed a little. Tyre Power corner there, now Bow Repairs corner, and changes across the top as well. They've got the Repco signage, right? So let's have a look at these battles a little bit further back in the field. So Isaac Edwards has been chased by Reece Ashmore. Next Design's one of the sponsors of Pass 2. It's Isaac's company, so there's some fantastic liveries. He's got Reece Ashmore chasing him at the moment. That Porsche will not be as quick in a straight line as it once was, missing the bonnet. The damage to the front there as well. Can't quite see the damage to Ashmore. Oh, as he's got gone around there, just looks like the Ferrari's got a bit light. He's just down into the wall. He's used relatives wisely there. Got that one back through. So now that has damage on the front left-hand corner, unfortunately. So no doubt he'll jump into pit lane and get that fixed up. Probably fuel that Ferrari to the end of the race. Talk about it every week when we're on. Nathan Verney in the Locked On Lads liveried entry. Of course, Locked On Racing. Talk about all things iRacing in their podcast weekly. So do check them out. Got a good Discord going as well where you can go and speak to like-minded individuals about car racing and gaming in general. Actually, it's a good space for all things hobby. Jump on there and have a chat with those fellas on the Discord. They are looking for people to race with them next season as well, so Help create that team environment that you might like. As it stands, Vernie up to P7, just making his way through the field here. The Audi not damaged. So he's managed to use the draft to his advantage there and make the move on Isaac Edwards. Now John Baldwin looking to get involved in the action. It looks like just up in front there. May have been an issue. Looks like Gordon Smith went off track. Managed to get it back on though. We're 11 minutes in to this race. It's closed up at the front as well. Between Urquhart, Barker and Buxton. Gap to Barker, it's closed ever so slightly. It was out to about 3 seconds at one stage, back down to a second now. Can he get any move done? There's a fair bit of damage actually to that right hand front corner of Urquhart. That might explain why that gap has come down so substantially. Of course, it's easy to clip a wall through here. Yeah, that will be hurting him. It's coming up to the back of Gordon Smith, I think it may be. But, the gap across the field now has spread. So when will our leaders pit? It's Jesse Butler just making his way back up the mountain again. So you can see down in the background there, the orange car is a lapped vehicle. Then Blake Urquhart, Brett Barker just off in the distance. So it's a 4-second gap. Again, in the background you can just see people just getting a little close to the walls. Only a 40-minute race here, but driver fatigue will probably play a little bit as Vernie there loses a spot to John Baldwin. That pass done up into turn 2. Definitely one of the best sections of track in motorsport. Across the top of the mountain there. Haven't been. It's extraordinarily steep descent. We're about 800 metres, or maybe 730 odd metres high at its peak. Use every bit of the track there just to get the car through. It turned in nicely through the chase. And completes another. Oh, and he's gone wide there. Vernie's done well to avoid it. So he's trying to move again as they head up into Griffins. And he's got it done again. So sort of tit for tat continues. It's another good opportunity here up into the cutting if you can get it right. And head out to Quarry and then into Reed Park. There's not a lot you can do. Of course, here we did see it on the weekend, of course. Through Reed Park. Brody Kostecki got a move done there, but it is uncommon. It's very, very risky. Let's go to through Silliman and into McPhillamy. And across Skyline and down through the S's. And through the Dipper. And then make their way down to Forest Elbow. Said earlier on, if you don't get that corner right, it does penalise you the length of this straight. You can end up paying a very big price for not getting it right. Through the Chase. Was introduced in the 80s. And out the run down to Murray's. And that completes a lap. But when they're making up a position, I haven't seen anyone into pit lane. As I say that, Isaac Edwards jumps in. Can't help but feel that some of that might be to do with that missing bonnet. It'll be costing him time. And that beeping there to letting people know. He's in pit lane. So, car should get fixed. Yep, there it goes. Nice new bonnet. And he'll be fueled up to the end of the race. Really want to keep an eye on when our race leader will jump in. It to be just after 20 minutes if you can make it that far. We'll use up as much of the tank as possible. We haven't got too many close battles out there at the moment. Courtesy of that incident, and in comes Jesse Butler, so he's not going to quite make it. There's a very slow moving Mercedes in front of him. He might have run out of fuel. Who was that? There was somebody. It was Rodney Hobbs. I think he ran out of fuel on the entrance to pit lane. So just went that one lap too far. There he is there. Let's jump back in. That has lost Jesse Butler all of the advantage that he had. That Ferrari of Blake Urquhart's going to be repaired, which it is. That fixes that guard. So that thing will be back and primed up, ready to go. And they'll be racing again. There you go. Very, very close on the exit. Yeah, and that can happen, though. In real life, car runs out of fuel in front of you. They block the road. What are you going to do? I don't think I've seen that before, though, on the stream. So temporarily, it puts Nick Buxton in the lead of the race. With Ben Pollock in second there, both drivers there yet to pit. They're wanting to make sure that they don't run out of fuel. We'll have a look at Buxton in the Autobahn liveried Ferrari. Pretty sure it's modelled off the V8 supercar. It's retro-fitted to the Ferrari. There's new updates coming out to iRacing overnight as well, so more content again and the like, which is always good for the races. Should see whether or not Buxton and Pollock jump into pit lane. They can't have too much more fuel on board, you wouldn't think. And no, straight into pit lane this time around. Did get one more lap out of it than Urquhart did, but I imagine Urquhart's was just as much about sticking with Butler as anything else. You're trying to use that draft. So here comes Ben Pollock. He's got the horde of leaders behind him. So in comes Pollock. And that will put... Oh, as it looks like there's been... No, there hasn't. As it looks, Butler there just resumes the lead of the race. So Butler, Urquhart, Barker resume their battle. They all pitted on lap 9. They'll be hoping they got the number right. This looks like it's worked out reasonably well for John Baldwin, who's now back in the pack. Now he pitted on lap 2. So should be fueled up to the end. No tank restrictions on, I don't believe. Now we've got Pollock, Panton, Verney and Ashmore all in pit lane. Butler may have... sorry, it's Nick Buxton. Looks like he's had an issue. May have just grabbed the wall a bit there. The notification looks sensitive. Oh, there's a huge puff of smoke off in the distance. That was Hendrik Krasinga, who's jumped back to pit lane. As Butler gets out of Forest Elbow. The run down the chase. Yeah, Dylan, absolutely. Saying in the chat that someone's going to make an Echidna mod soon enough. Yeah, absolutely. I think they will after the weekend's events. It's the first time we've seen that. And an albino kangaroo as well. So lots of native wildlife getting in on the race that stops the nation. All of our cars now repaired after their stop. So this is Reece Ashmore. He's in got a bit of a group of his own at the moment after the stops. So we'll be trying to chase down Joe Schultz, who unfortunately had to pit early because of that incident that we're talking about. He was involved in it. John Baldwin now jumps into pit lane for his second stop. Obviously not quite able to fuel that one to the end. Thanks, Dylan. We appreciate you tuning in and look forward to you being out in the series next year. So Urquhart's just sticking with Jesse Butler at the front. Jump on board with Urquhart as he makes his way down towards Forest Elbow. It's a good exit. Oh, little close to the wall there. Probably too close for his liking. Most importantly, he's within that 1 second gap. So you'll be able to get a good idea here of the draft and how it does help as that gap closes down. We get into the chase. Late on the brakes. Got it turned in well. A little bit over there. Doesn't cost him too much though, but he's going to have to be careful that the gap doesn't blow out over that 1 second. Doesn't want to lose the draft. It's very important. Even from the perspective of building the gap to Brett Barker behind him. You can have Jesse Butler pull him along a little bit. Just help to open that gap up over the Lamborghini. He will be happy to take the assistance. It looks like the Ferrari's just that little bit quicker across the top of the mountain. So just keep an eye on it here, the gap. So it went up through Griffin's at 0.8. We'll head up through the cutting here. Well, it just looks like it's a little bit tighter, a little bit easier through here. We'll jump on board next time we go through there. It looked like he was flat out through that section. It was really well out to the grate. It's right out to the wall. Through Solomon. We head across McPhillamy now. And you can see that gap's closed right up. 2/10. So he had a much better run across the top of the mountain that time than Butler did. And that has put the pressure on. He's got to get it turned down into Forest Elbow. If he can do that well, get out of Forest Elbow well enough, then he should be able to potentially put on a challenge here. But again, just popped out to 0.45 of a second, or just under 0.45 of a second. So he will get a big gulp of the draft here. But looks like that Ferrari's just not quite able to keep up with the Beamer in a straight line. Whether that's down to ballast or not, I'm not sure, but he should be getting a better assistance than that. Again, 0.6 just blows out that little bit again, so the straight line of the Ferrari not able to compete with the straight line of the BMW. However, you saw how much quicker it was across the top of the mountain, so let's stick with this battle. As on the left-hand side there, Andrew Hayes has just left pit lane. So it's 0.7 now as we head up the mountain. This is where we saw the gap closing in this segment of the track. Basically from Griffin's across to Forest Elbow. The Ferrari descended on the BMW. The gap's just stretched a little bit there on the entry to the cutting. We go through Quarry Corner. Again, the gap starts to drop. So BMW just not that strong through McPhillamy. And that gap has extended out over a second now. But importantly for Brett Barker, he has closed to within a second. Just 1.2 out of the elbow there. So has opened up ever so slightly. Qualifying in the Pro-Am has started. Keep an eye on that as well for you. We'll be switching straight from this race to the start of that one. 70-minute feature race tonight. Just ticked over 10 minutes to go here. Burkhart gets through Murray's. Jump back and have another look at a couple of our other drivers. There's some fairly healthy gaps that have developed. So John Baldwin, after his second stop, he had to make a stop on lap 1, unfortunately, due to damage. But he is in P7. Dropped a few from qualifying, but not a bad resurrection, given the way the evening started. So he's doing well. Patrick Panton's trying to charge him down. You can just hear him coming in the background there. There's Panton in the Lamborghini, just about to enter the chase. So there's a 4-second gap between the two. It looks like Jonas Schultz trying to make headway on the gap between himself and Reece Ashmore, which is around about 5 seconds. So Ashmore's just gone over the crest. Down Conrad. So fresh as that car, it has not got a livery. Not running his traditional Turismo blue. Buxton did lead the race for a lap. He's now just 14 behind the leaders. And in fact, let's jump back up to the front. Urquhart has managed to stem the tide a little on Jesse Butler and open that gap back up again on Brett Barker. So this battle for the lead just hanging around. Butler not quite able to break away from the Ferrari of Blake Urquhart. Again, it's just that early section of the race, of the track I should say, where that BMW does seem to be a lot stronger. So having a look at the championship standings here. And it does look like Barker and Urquhart, that is the battle. That is for championship position. Sebastian Vandel not here this evening. I was in the chat earlier on. Looks like he has got it wrapped up. See what changes. Oh, there was a dummy thrown there, I think, from Jesse Butler just around the pit lane entry. Just to see who might tempt Urquhart into a stop. Will they need to stop again? They may well if they only made it to 18 minutes. Sure the cap is on fuel. We'll find that out before the main race. Well, actually, this being an enduro, the points, I'm pretty sure it's double points. I was just trying to look it up through the rules. In which case, this could hand Urquhart the championship win if he keeps things the way that they are. He has to have one eye on that prize. We've probably got 2 more laps to go here. There you go, so Carl's jumped into the chat and given us the point update anyway. It's good, so Vandals has got it wrapped up. I was just rifling through the rules. But it'll still be, at this stage, second for Urquhart and third for Barker, despite that change for position. So, but that's only occurred because Barker has done his second stop. So if they're going to do it, it's going to have to be this lap. That also explains that. So Carl's just saying that Sebastian Vandel is in the amateur class tonight as a wild card. Let's see him in the server there and had wondered. Let's get an update on all those points and everything that's going on there. As Carl jumps into the server before the feature race coming out very shortly. Alright, it looks like this will be the final lap. Indeed it is. There's the white flag. So Butler's going to make it. Looks like Urquhart will too. Maybe just slightly underfueled himself there, Brett Barker. And that's what's ended up with him having to run through pit lane again. Buxton not going through pit lane either, so this stage is Jesse Butler taking us around for the last time. Season 5 of the AUSPROAM Sim Series, but Season 1 of Pass 2, it's been a success. It's fair to say. Good avenue for any driver to come and run. We had 20 turn up tonight. At this stage, it looks like we're going to have 15 finishes. This series is open to anyone who wants to run. We'll be back next season. Don't have to have qualified. You can turn up and run fixed series each week. Really like to see this get out to 20 to 30 runners consistently each week. It's fixed series, so you can just come and run. You don't have to work on a setup all week. Very, very well run series as well. So here he comes, Jesse Butler. He's about to take it across the line. Take out the win as he gets through Murray's. And off he goes to a maiden win here in Pass 2. Race very well run. Blake Urquhart was there the whole time, keeping him honest. And it is going to be Nick Buxton who's going to bring home the Autobahn liveried Ferrari. Well, gets a little loose there on the last corner, but does bring home P3. Nick Buxton, great drive. Brett Barker's going to be P4. He did have to make that extra stop, just one lap shy, I'd say, of fuel. And on our lead lap, Ben Pollock, Nathan Burney as well. And Baldwin just makes his way down through the chase. Getting around for his final lap. Thanks for jumping in, Tim. So, as things come to a finish. Wait for the drivers to make their way around. In the meantime, I'm going to switch across just so that we've got the qualifying on screen. I'll get that one on in a second. We'll have our drivers up into the commentary box for a little bit of a chat, season debrief, and the like. I'll get that dual screen up at the moment so you can see what's going on. Big shout out again to our sponsors. Bit of Technology Corporation, Simrigs.com, 93PC. All the crew out at Echuca Toyota. Just waiting to see if he does. It's just a little bit of a burnout there in pit lane. HJ Plant Repairs. Of course, Index Designs in Pass 2, jumping on board for the season. And none other than Phoenix Smokers as well. Be a great time of year to get one of those as we head into summer. So the drivers in the main in Pass 2 have finished up there. Just got Nick Buxton just jumped into
down Conrod we go for the first time, down towards the the beautiful chase. It's a tricky track to get used to, isn't it, Bathurst?
Yeah, absolutely, it can be. So you can be just trundling along thinking that everything is going fine, and then the next minute you know you're facing the wrong direction and half your car's on the concrete. So drivers are going to have to make sure that they pay attention here tonight. It can be a very, very difficult track if you don't have 100% concentration. And I don't know what to say. We've got to wait and see what happens here. Widdus out in front, doing very well. Just opened up the gap to 1.2 seconds so far. And then we've got Guitaric Turner, John Merritt in his battle for second through fourth.
Just jumping down to 10th position quickly, we've got Sebastian Vardell there in his first official pass entry in the AM class tonight, getting jumped into here after securing the title in the past 2 series, entering as a bit of a wild card tonight, but he's having a fantastic run just ahead of Sam Lehman, who's made up 7 positions in this race. Yeah,
currently running P10, that's an impressive effort there. So in his first run in the main game, but we have spoken about it all season, just how close qualifying was for the series. So one of those guys in past 2 certainly capable of competing up here in the main event.
Yeah, definitely showing form here tonight, and shown it all season long, of course, but really, really good result for him down there in 10th at the moment, starting in 12th, so he's made up a couple of positions, kept his nose clean in the first couple of laps, and having a good run so far. A few drivers out there having some good moves through the field. Got Hugh Gott at 7 positions, as well in 15th position, trying to work his way up the field. But yeah, it's a long old race, of course, much like we saw on the weekend. You know, you can't win it in the first corner, but you sure as heck can lose it.
Yeah, most definitely. So just having a look here, this is on board with Joshua Fitt as he makes his way down through the chase, and just showing you it's very, very close, tight packed midfield.
Jeff Connell having a bit of a rough lap, losing a couple of positions, losing out to Dyson and Jordan Peter in that lap. So just dropping a couple of positions, just struggling a little bit in that Audi at the moment.
It's a telling story as well when there's only 4 Porsches across the entire field, 5 Porsches across the entire field. Just how much that car is struggling in the series at the moment. And our first 3 cars are Mercedes, Jack Widdus. Traditional colours, but definitely due. And running away with it at the moment. Just have a look at our championship contenders as well. So Jeff Connell in the Batmobile continues to run the Audi. He's currently in P9. So he has not got a lot of work to do because Jack Boyd's not here tonight.
Oh, it's a busy weekend for Boyd, wasn't it? He had some other things to do.
Absolutely. So champion-elect, effectively Jeff Connell. But Ross Rizzo and John Merritt have got a little bit of a battle to play out as well as they fight it out for 3rd position in the championship.
And currently John Merritt is in the lead on that on-track battle, at least ahead of Ross Rizzo. Those two are very close to each other at the moment on track in 4th and 5th position. They swapped their positions around from the starting grid and have stayed in those spots ever since. So we'll see those 2 cars battling it out all throughout the night, I imagine. We'll see how that fight goes on. A little bit further back, Mitchell Bolton's got Andrew Dyson all over the back of him in a McLaren-Ferrari fight. And Jordan Peters trying to catch up in the other Ferrari. The highest running Audi at the moment is Jeff Connell. Highest running BMW is Ross Rizzo.
The other one that's going to take a little bit of a turn is in the AM class. Christopher Henn currently sitting in 3rd position. He has to beat Daniel Webster, who at the moment is down in 28th position, to see if he can take out 2nd place in that championship.
Daniel Webster just running wide. Murray's clipped the wall slightly. I think he was just trying to avoid a car in front of him. One of the Lamborghinis, it was Miles Bond in front of him, just had a big moment as well. Just the curse of the commentator there, just appearing instantly on the track.
Best. Doing my best work. I've got a few to get in. It's been a week or so.
We have a quota to fill, of course. It is an important job. Somebody has to do it.
We don't get paid our bonus if we don't get there, so we have to make sure we do.
Nothing worse than being brought forth to the commentary board, being told off for not using your curses too often.
Absolutely right. You get rusty.
You do.
And then the next thing you know, Sam, and again there's Jeff Connell just off track. Ross McPhilmy. Not Skyline, my apologies. So we continue to work our wondrous ways. Oh dear, mate.
You don't have an excuse to get the corner wrong here.
No, I don't. No, not at all. I don't. So it was a slip of the tongue as they head down this long straight thingy on the way to those couple of corners.
The good old Conrod Straight, of course. one of the most iconic circuits in the world, of course. Mount Panorama. It's a track that many people love. It's been compared to half Nürburgring, half Bacau as a track, which it's very correct. It's a very tight, very twisty circuit full of terror.
Absolutely. It's the thing about the track is you just don't really get an idea on how steep it is until you go there. Even just then looking at Conrod Straight, I remember walking down the track under the bridge, and it's quite uphill. It's not as gentle as you would expect just through there. So I mean, it is a crest described aptly, but it's very steep, the run up towards the crest as well. So and up through here as well. It's off cambered here, so it pushes the car out to that river strip on the outside edge there, or curbing, whatever you want to call it. So it's not. It might look simple. I guess some people might think it looks like a simple track to drive, but it's by any means a simple track to drive.
That's it. The elevation change is ridiculous here. 175 meters, I think it is, from the lowest to the highest point of the track. It's a very, very tall track. There's a lot of elevation change here. You're going up and downhill very quickly as well. So it's one of the steepest elevation changes of any track, I think. I'm trying to think. There's a couple of Brazilian tracks which are similar, but it's very rare that you get anything with such a steep climb and descent in a track.
Of course, cut into the side of a mountain. Used to be all dirt. Used to race motorbikes here. There's a round of the Formula One World Championship hosted here way back in the day.
Just up at the front, Dennis Kotarik's catching on with us at the moment. Starting to close that gap. Willis got a little bit tardy across the top of the mountain, just caught a little bit of a clip through a dipper. Didn't end up getting too much damage, but definitely made contact with the wall. So struggling a little bit for speed maybe with us. So are we seeing the Mercedes strong at the start and then struggling a little bit after a couple of laps? Because we've got Ross Rizzo and John Merritt closing in on the back of these three Mercedes.
It's literally what I was about to say. You've got those guys all closing in on the back of this pack as well. It's going to switch over quickly. This is the battle that Sam Lehman's involved with. So 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, all down into Hell Corner. And all managing to make it through. But that's Fit and Capel around him. I think Alex Court's involved in that one as well. There's James Ruwalt. So plenty of battling going on a little bit further back in the field as we keep an eye on what's going on up at the front.
Great job driving side by side here. When you're driving side by side through Hell Corner and Griffiths, it's not an easy thing to do. It might look like there's a fair bit of width on the track, but the track gets very slippery once you get off corner, and it's very easy to lose a car here. So good driving throughout the field for not having a bit of an accident there, because usually when you go side by side into Hell's Corner, it doesn't end too well.
It's a resident's got the name Hell Corner. It's only part of it, of course, but there's plenty going on throughout the field. It is nose to tail actually for a fair bit of the field. Sam, even behind this battle with Sam Lehman, got Derek Audie, Luke Fitt. They're battling away. Let's just turn up on screen 1 for you. Aaron Raccanello involved in that one with Matty Johnson as well. Just behind our lead pack too, Andrew Dyson has managed to make his way past Mitchell Bolton, but Bolton's got Jordan Peter and Jeff Connell trying to chase him down, along with that man Sebastian Vandel, who has moved his way up from pass 2 to run here tonight as the wild card. So there is certainly action aplenty throughout the field.
Plenty of action going on throughout the field. And there's still that battle up the front. Widders is having to defend against Gatarik, Turner, Merritt and Rizzo as well. So this is a fantastic race we've got brewing here tonight. We've got battles all throughout the field at the moment. And even a bit further down, we've got battles between Aaron Ranciello and Phil Horty at the moment. Side by side towards Hell's Corner they go. The Phoenix Smokers sponsored car against the Dragon RC livery car, side by side out the corner, and watch out just behind Matthew Johnson in the Red Brew Racing car is going to get a nice slipstream up Mountain Straight here. Will he be able to take advantage up into Griffiths? Going to try, maybe not got enough here to answer it. Down the hill they go, back up it, he goes into the inside.
Oi.
Big block there by Rantiello.
Not sure, he, on the headlights there, Johnson, I'm not sure if Raccanello actually knew he was there. Looked more like he was trying to get across to potentially have a look at Phil Audie. But luckily enough there was room. Johnson wouldn't have liked that too much. And that battle continues behind now. Johnson in a Red Roo entry.
Luckily they don't model Roos in iRacing, because otherwise we would have a safety car at some point in this race with a Roo jumping out across the track, as is tradition at Bathurst.
Absolutely. Or just an echidna. What's a new one?
We need to have a snake next. We're missing out on snakes at Bathurst. Dennis de Catara getting a good run down on Jack Widders, down towards the chase. He goes a little bit deep. Widders trying to get him back. Can't quite do it this time round. Gatarik has got the position. Luke Turner's trying to make the move as well. Gatarik just boxing him in a little bit there. Turner can't quite make it round Widders at this time. Gatarik in the lead of this race now. Will Widders be able to get him back along Mountain Straight out of Hell Corner? We're soon going to find out, but it does look like Widders is struggling a little bit with the front end of that Mercedes.
The Mercedes has come good in this latter part of the season, and this is a track ideally suited to it. So, expecting pit stops soon. In the next 5 minutes or so, probably see our first stop. And this pack has not let up. In fact, it's grown. Once there were 3, now there are 5. And Rizzo and Merritt. The camera's not very, angle's very helpful at all, but Rizzo and Merritt are joined on the back. So how far out can Dennis Gatarik pull the lead before that round of stops? He has set off a little bit here. He's already opened up half a second gap, so maybe Carly is spot on with the tyres there for Jack Widders. Maybe they are off a little.
Just watching Widders going down Conrad, he's just losing a little bit through the kink, and it's just starting to struggle through it. He's just having to lift a little bit more by the looks of things. You'll see it as we come down the big long straight now. When he gets down to that little kink, he's just got to ease off a little bit, and he loses a little bit of time every single lap from what I've seen.
It's just an innocent shot at me there, Carl. It is called Conrad Straight, of course, I do know that. So we're here just having a look as well at the sectors, just to have a look at what you're talking about. So you can see a fair old whack there in Sector 2, which of course is through the windy stuff. It takes its notes from around about, I think just before the Great, so across the top of the mountain. Identical cars, by the way, with setups, if it is the first time you've joined us, as Gatarik goes fastest through the last sector that we've seen today. Indicated by that pink colour on the 21.867 by 1/1000th, I'll have you, but still the fastest.
Yeah, if it's 1/1000th, it's still faster, so
It's
that's
still
the main
faster.
thing.
You'll still be ahead at the end of the day. So this battle's got plenty to go. Tell you what as well, they've just dropped off John Merritt and Ross Rizzo as well, these three.
I just noticed that Hugh Block has just come in for a stop in the Stuttgart Porsche. So one of the first cars to stop in the race for sort of other than lap 1 sort of area. So coming in sort of nowish to try and get that done. We'll see how that one plays out later in the race. Maverick Benson's also come in about 2 laps ago. So a couple of people starting to play around with strategies. It's not a track that you want to get caught up with traffic in, of course. You want to try and get a nice gap behind you. And this is where people like Tarek and the leaders might struggle a little bit, because they're going to end up with lots of cars around them and could lose a little bit of time if they pit a little bit too early.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is a track, obviously, where you can fuel save. So those out there who are good at it, and Ross Rizzo comes to mind, are going to have the opportunity to do so here. And Rizzo's probably been able to do that for a majority of the stint, because of course he's been right behind John Merritt for a majority of it, right up underneath the back wing of that McLaren, getting a nice little toasty on the front.
And in comes Gatarik and Widdus.
As does John Merritt. So Luke Turner and Ross Rizzo stay out. We saw him pass 2. One of the guys, I think Rodney Hobbs, ran out of fuel on the entrance to pit lane. Again, pit lane uphill, so there's no coasting down to your pit box. You need enough fuel, and particularly these gentlemen who qualified up the front, they will need enough fuel to make their way up over the crest of pit lane. And believe it or not, Carl, the end of pit lane as well, on the uphill, so they or on the incline, they definitely need to make sure they've got enough to get there. There's no clutching or starter motoring your way up to the end.
No, it's luckily in sim racing you don't have to worry about the clutch failing in the pit lane, because we've seen many cars get stuck by that in the past with that inclination up the hill. It's not the easiest of pit lanes. You can gain a lot of time though coming into the pit lane here if you're very, very brave. We've seen a few drivers in the past using that to their advantage, but it is very easy to just overshoot it and speed into pit lane and earn yourself a big penalty as well.
Larry Perkins can crash on the way into pit lane at Mount Panorama, then just shows you how tough it is.
Exactly. It's it's not exactly an Adelaide pit lane with David Coulthard, but it's a much harder pit lane, I would say.
It certainly is. In fact, I think Jack Perkins did a similar thing a few years back as well. Anyway, I don't know about that, so if I'm wrong, I completely take that back, but I seem to recall it. Anyway, or at least someone did. But at the moment, it is Turner still out for another lap. Rizzo, just going on screen now, out for another lap. So how many more have they got? They've gone past 20 minutes. It's as far as I've seen anyone go tonight on fuel.
Get the feeling Luke Turner's going to be coming in this time. Will we see Rizzo try and stick it out there one more lap? We'll find out now. No, he doesn't.
No, comes in quite late, but gets it done. You can see how fast he pulls that up as well. Uses all the curb on the entry, that's fine. Cuts across the shortcut there and gets it pulled in. Good entry into pit lane. You can see Andrew Dyson coming in behind him as well. Fuel save extraordinaire. Jeff Connell has decided that he does not need to stop yet. And he goes around once again in the Audi. So he will be driving to a lap number. He's done it all season. It's what's delivered him another championship.
Yeah, it's definitely been a season of driving slightly smarter almost than driving faster for Connell. Not that he's been driving slow, but he's just been absolutely nailing those stops and nailing those fuel numbers.
And sometimes that's all it takes. I mean, you know, there are Formula One world champions who have done just exactly what it takes to get there. Nothing more, nothing less. Jeff maintains that he didn't necessarily have the pace of everyone else out on track this year. He's being probably a little generous, but he certainly has played the strategy game as well, and that's why his name is in the rulebook with 2 rules next to it, because he does lead the way in terms of race strategy in this series. Still unbelievably sponsor free. I think this is certainly his 2nd championship. I think it may be his 3rd championship out of the 5 seasons that we've run here.
Yeah,
the AUSPROAM Sim Series. So
just a fantastic job, and it's he's got his new equipment now, and he's getting settled into that. But he was a great one to show that you don't need the best equipment to make it through. Just clutching down the hill right now, Jeff Connell, just to make it to pit lane. You were just saying about Formula 1 drivers making it to pit lane on vapours. Think back to the 1985 Imola GP, of course, where Ali De Angelis won the race, thanks to some amazing fuel saving. After Prost just got it wrong a little bit and was a couple of kilograms too shy of the weight limit.
That itself is unusual. But now we have had the whole field through pit lane. Now, we've got to plan out the remainder of the race now. They get the stop here, they'll get full. They will have to stop again, potentially. We'll just see what happens here. So Luke Turner resumes the lead of the race. So he got the switch done in pit lane over Gitarik. Widders in 3rd now. Ross Rizzo's a little bit away from him. Let me look back through the field here, Carl, just to see who we can have a look at. And this grabbed my eye immediately. Oh, there's contact there with Hugh McLaughlin and Alex Court. I think McLaughlin there just redressing after that contact. I like that sort of thing.
A little bit of a moment with Jeff Connell coming out of pit lane. So he's just having a little bit of a moment with Jordan Peter. Just didn't see him on the pit exit and just got very, very close. Made a little bit of contact into the back of Jordan Peter. No major harm, no major foul between the two. But that could have been a big moment there for Jeff Connell and his chance for this race. But it is Luke Turner in the lead now, ahead of Dennis Gitarik. So after those pit stops have shaken out, Luke Turner's taken the lead. Luke Turner was stationary for about 14 seconds, so about 1.5 seconds less than Dennis Gitarik. So possibly taking a little bit less fuel, going to take a little bit of a shorter stint this time round. Possibly going to have to stop one more time to get through this race.
And maybe just shy. So we'll see how that plays out.
Well, we've still got 45 minutes remaining of this race, so it's a fair amount of time, and this track can be quite harsh on fuel. So some of those that stopped a little bit later might be okay, but the drivers that had to stop a little bit earlier might have to make it a double.
Yeah, I think anything pre-20 minutes may be in trouble.
It's a common thing of this track, working out fuel and working out numbers, because this place holds a fair few of the endurance racing crown jewels for motorsport. Of course, the 12 hours and the 1000, of course, and before that it was the 500 back when it was in miles.
And should be back next year as well. For Bathurst 12 hour on. Certainly going to be on an iRacing.
It would be nice to see it again properly.
Absolutely.
Probably got a bit of a lull to it.
Oh, look out.
I thought I'd ask you a quick question, as is tradition. Being that we're at Bathurst, of course. We'll go back to the history of the endurance, well, the main race, the 500/1000.
Mm-hmm.
So, who was the first non-Australian to win in the Bathurst 500/1000 Formula 2 kilometres. So, Stuart.
I am going to say Alan Moffat.
No. Earlier, yes.
Ooh.
So 1966 was the winner. So he is one of two people from that area of the world to have won the race. Not the same country, but the same part of Europe.
That... I'm just trying to think back. Firth, 63... Investment fee, that was 65... So 68, that was 60... No, it's... 66 was the minis.
It was indeed.
The year of the
Lachlan
minis.
Capel coming into pit lane just as you have a bit of a think. So he's coming in for his second stop. So we've got a two-stop going on for him and Hugh McLaughlin. So we have got a couple of two-stoppers out there. So we are seeing a few people that don't think they're going to make it on field. Oh, Dennis Katarek has had a big accident up at the cutting. Oh, what's happened there? Back end has just stepped out and he's had a big crash up into the wall. He goes, and that is going to hurt him severely.
Does have a fast repair, but of course he's fueled up at the moment, so he's going to have to push that one through. I don't know, Carl. Bob Holden, I know, won in the Mini. I don't know. I'm going to say it's whoever he drove with, but I don't know who it is.
Ronno Altman, of course, the inventor of the Scandinavian fleet.
Right. Of course. I've never heard his name before in my life. So
One of the original Flying Finns, a mainstay in, rallying. One of the first entries into the Rally Hall of Fame with Eric Carlson, Timo Mäkinen, and I've forgotten who the other person was at the time. It was Paddy Hopkins. That's right.
Paddy. Oh yeah, I know that name. All
and
things.
A famous mini driver, of course.
Of course. So, no, you got me there. An obscure
I
one.
couldn't make it too easy tonight.
An obscure one. There you go.
And of course, Rickard Rydell was the only other driver from that part of Europe to win the race, of course, from Sweden.
Yeah,
a Finn and a Swede.
I'm not sure that victory really counts, does it?
I mean, it was a great victory. It was in a Volvo. Everything was perfect.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm not sure. That was during that time of racing where there were two Bathursts, but I mean, it wasn't the real one, was it? So Dennis Katarek from here, this might make for a slightly longer evening for him. He didn't damage the wing by the look of it, which is good. It doesn't look to have lost its pace behind that BMW of Ross Rizzo. But it does help Ross Rizzo out, because now Rizzo has Katarek between himself and John Merritt. And that has championship altering consequences. So Rizzo looking to just keep hold of that second position, that third position in the main one.
Yeah, it's made his night a lot harder for sure. You never want to have an accident here. It's generally, if you can get away with that little amount of damage crashing into the wall up at the cutting/quarry area of the track, you're doing quite well, because those walls are not soft at all. They are just solid lumps of concrete, and they will absolutely wreck your suspension.
Hey John, thanks for joining the chat. Yes, absolutely, mate. Did enjoy your new livery on Pass 2. When you watch it back, you'll see me talk about it, as I seem to always do. Good season from yourself.
So that has also allowed Jack Willis to get back into the lead of the race as well. Luke Turner is putting all pressure he can on Willis again. So we'll see if he starts to struggle a little bit later in the stint. Might just be some heat issues going on in the Mercedes, or just having a little bit of a struggle just through the chase. It just sort of couldn't get it hooked up, so might have just been struggling to get the car in the perfect spot, and finally settling down for him now. So he looks to have some good pace on him, though. I mean, Jack Willis is never a slow driver on these tracks, but just seemed to be struggling a tiny bit earlier on in the stage, and now it seems to be settling down for him.
Yeah, absolutely. So, still plenty of time here. Not quite through halfway. A couple of minutes away from being halfway through this final round. Good time to mention series sponsors, of course, simrigs.com, main partner for the series for season 5 of the AUSPROAM Sim Series. All things sim rig that you need, including pedals and steering wheel now, and they've got, so they brought out the Mini as well, so they've got everything you need to get your bum into a racing seat and have a crack at this series. Of course, 93PC can sort you out with a computer. Technology Corporation to make sure you've got everything sorted out at work that you need to in terms of networking and all the things that make your business run. Yeah, thank them for being on board for the second season in a row. Chuka Toyota jumping on this season as well. So thank them. If you're in Victoria, head up to a Chuka. Stock of cars back into the country is good, and you can grab yourself a nice Corolla or a Hilux or the new Prados. Phoenix Smokers, of course, to help you out in the backyard as well if you're looking for something to do on a nice summer's afternoon. And nothing like chucking some good meat onto a smoker and letting it do its thing over the day while you sit back and have a sip on a couple of frothies. So, last but not least, HJ Plant Repairs, foundation partners of the AUSPROAM Sim Series, been with us since the start. And Hayden Jackson, we thank you very much for your ongoing contribution to this wonderful series. But we've still got a little while to go before we crown our champions for another season. And Jack Willis still under pressure from Luke Turner. Interesting to see. Right-hand front corner of both of those Mercedes-Benz has copped a little bit of torment. You can just see that bonnet on the front of Widdis's car there. Left of screen as you're looking at it, just lifted a little bit. Same damage replicated on Luke Turner's car behind. So maybe those cars just a little bit suffering a little bit of understeer, maybe across the top of the mountain. Let's just manage them to be able to grab a little bit of the wall on the outside there, perhaps at the grate or somewhere like that. Just through there. Or maybe here.
They definitely seem to be struggling a little bit with the front end. That is one of the perils of having a front end that could basically work its way as an aircraft carrier as well. It is quite a long boy, the Mercedes, and sometimes that front end can be a little bit nose heavy, and it's just been struggling a little bit tonight. And I think that's been one of the perils of it. It is quick, but there is that little bit of concentration needed. Danis Katarik has managed to get past Ross Rizzo as well. He's catching back up to this battle at the front. Did mention Pass 2 earlier on, and the Pass 2 champion, Sebastian Vandel, is currently sitting in the 8th position now, working his way up the field nicely. He's just behind Mitchell Bolton, the leader of the AM class at the moment. So Vandal is racing in the AM class category tonight as a bit of a wildcard entrant and having a great job out there, doing a fantastic drive.
Yeah, absolutely he was. And is. But plenty of great history throughout the race. 1000. It was run very late in the year this year, December. Start of the season, end of the season.
It still feels odd for me to have so much racing in the Christmas season. Oh, Tarek just gets snappy through Hell's Corner there, just manages to save that car. But that was a big moment coming out the corner there. Had a massive tank slap and managed to save that one though. We still have a Formula 1 race to go as well for the end of the year.
We do.
It's crazy, isn't it?
We might as well have just had one Formula 1 race this season.
Yeah.
After some of the craziness that we just saw.
Well, let's not talk too much about that, because I could rant for about 6 hours, I reckon.
Yeah, no, not the way to go.
No, exactly. When the Skip Barber Series open races has better race control, there's an issue. So, Jack Willis up in the lead still. Mitch Bolton in the lead of the AMS. We've got a few battles going on. I reckon Jeff Connell is going to be one to watch towards the end of this race. I reckon he's trying for a one-stopper out there, so it'll be interesting to see what Connell can do. I believe that everybody else is going to need to stop at least once more, I reckon. I don't think the other cars can quite make it, so they might be very, very shy on fuel towards the end of this race and might just need a quick splash and dash. If Connell needs one, then he'll probably need a little bit less than the rest of them, so it could get him a nice bit of time. But he has got a big gap at the moment. He's 20 seconds off the lead of this race, so it says to me that he's very much in super fuel saving mode and trying his best to make it a one-stopper.
Yeah, well, we've seen this before, of course, from Connell just driving to a lap number. He would have worked out how far and how long and what he would have needed to do to make this.
Oh, Lachlan Capel's had a big moment up at Griffiths. Just coming out of Griffiths, just caught the wall, went into that little service road on the side and has taken his McLaren out. That's the end of his night. So just watch it coming through here. Gets on the curb, gets himself stuck, and then tags that service road exit there. Spins it round, and that is that for his night. A real big shame for young Lachlan Capel. Had a fantastic season. Very quick driver, but tonight is not the night.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to probably then finish 5th in the championship, straight up from AM last year into Pro, so that's not, he'll be disappointed, but that's not a bad effort. And how competitive it is. Speaking of not bad efforts, Sebastian Varndell up into P7. He has got Jordan Peter on his tail, giving him a hard time. In fact, he's going to have a look here into Griffiths and gets the job done.
And that is because Bolton had to pit. So as I said, I feel like we've got another pit stop cycle to come through for everybody still, other than maybe Jeff Connell. So it's going to be an interesting one. This one, it's going to be very much down to the wire.
Well, keep an eye on that man. The pack sort of started to spread now. Guy Leach has got a little bit of Luke Fit defending to do. The injectors online. Porsche is battling away hard with that car. Doing a good job though so far. Got 5 positions.
Some good drives going on out there tonight, working their way through the field, and it's not the easiest of tracks to pass on, as we've got Widders, Turner and Guitarric coming into pit lane along with Ross Rizzo. I just say watch out for these to come. It's their second stops. They all come barging into pit lane, so close to contact for the 3 Mercedes up front. Dyson has stuck it out, so Dyson with a handful of opposite look as he gets across the start finish line takes the lead of this race. Daiso in the Ferrari, going to see what he can do now. But this...
I was just going to say, Carl, this is interesting. So, pitting on lap 10, 40 minutes in, so another 30 minutes to go if my maths serves me correctly, and no one has lasted longer than 20 minutes on a tank of fuel.
No, I think we could be in for, 3 stops tonight.
Yeah,
so,
just a splash and dash at the end. So it might be that's what Connell and maybe even Daiso are just trying to avoid if they
Connell
can.
is clutching his way around the track. So I just jumped to Jeff Connell, just going up mountain straight, clutch in completely. It's going to keep it pretty in across the top of the hill here. You can sort of hear him dropping off into the corners, so I'll shut up for a moment, listen to this car across the top of the mountain. So very much in super fuel saving mode there, clutching it almost everywhere he can afford to at the moment. Really trying to use as little fuel as possible. Clutching it up towards the Skyline and the Dipper is a brave thing to do, because you usually want the engine to do a little bit of braking down into that corner. To steer it through there on the clutch is a pretty impressive thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely. The and the turn in as well. Like, it's just not an easy thing to do. It sounds easy. Just put the clutch in and off you go. But it is not that easy at all.
No, not one bit. One of the things it does, of course, as you say, is it does change the drivability of the car. It changes the way the car turns in. It changes everything about the vehicle, and it's a really strange thing. You sort of don't really feel it in a road car that much. And don't go practicing it too much either, because it's very easy to make a mistake, and we don't want you writing off your cars and having a big crash. But in a sim, you can get a bit of practice, and just as you go into a corner, put that clutch in, and you feel the car just absolutely understeering. It just does not behave the same way. I must admit, I've had to clutch at home many times in a car when I've been too tight to buy fuel. So it's a pretty common experience for myself, but don't try it at home, kids.
So yeah, he just gets a little bit taily across the top of the hill. Yeah, that's tough through there. You're relying on engine braking to get it pulled up into Forest Elbow. When there's a clutch in, there's no engine braking, that's for sure.
And this leads me on nicely to the next question, Stuart. Forest Elbow, where did its name come from?
Yeah, I don't know, actually. I don't know the answer to that one.
It was named after Ronald Jack Forrest, an Australian motorbike champion, motorbike racer and champion from New South Wales. He came off into the elbow up there and basically ground half his elbow off, and as a bit of a joke, one of his fellow competitors renamed what was called Devil's Elbow back in the day to Forest's Elbow after him.
There you go, yeah, crazy guys racing motorcycles around this place.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there are a few places I would not want to be on a motorbike, and this is one of them.
I'm not sure if it's worse or not, but of course back in the day they would have just run into dirt rather than into concrete. They came off the motorbike, but
it's still going to hurt though. It's sort of the fact that he ground half his elbow down sounds pretty nasty to me.
It won't tickle.
No, that's it. Similar reason for Hell's Corner, of course. The name of it came because of a tree stump that sat on the outside of the corner, and the motorbike riders said if you came off there, you were going. You're just basically going to end up in hell. Yep. Because you're going into a tree stump. So, a good old safety techniques of the old days.
Or lack thereof.
A bale of hay and a tree stump. One of them will stop you.
And the other one will set you on fire.
Exactly. Either way, you're not going to make it out alive.
No. Thank goodness.
Ross Rizzo in the lead of this race now, though. He did a 13.6 in his pit stop, so he managed to get out ahead of the three Mercedes. So we've finally got a leader of this race, not just from pit stops, not from just staying out. We've got a leader that's actually changed in the pit. Wait, it has? Oh, yes, sorry, yes, Ross Rizzo has stopped again. Sorry, I was looking at Jeff Connell again.
Connell's still not through pit lane.
No. So Ross Rizzo is effective race leader now, as soon as Jeff Connell decides that he wants to get some fuel in that car. He's trying to make it to that 20-minute mark if he can. Will he be able to go another lap? That's the question here. If he can, he's looking very good indeed. Will we see it? Yes, he is going around one more time. So this is a fuel save and a half. 12 laps to do, roughly, in this time period. So he's got to make 12 laps on a tank of fuel. But he's got to make it around one more lap on pretty much vapours, I would imagine. There's not much left in that tank. 23 corners, 6.5 kilometres of track to make it round. A lot of it uphill, some of it downhill, of course, but those hills are very steep and they do tend to chew up the fuel quite quickly.
He's coasting a long way. He has got Ross Rizzo closing him down, only 5.5 seconds back. down the road to Ross Rizzo.
If he can stick it out for if he can get a pit stop over them, he's going to be looking good. About 40 seconds, 35 seconds, 40 seconds lost in pit lane. So this will be a fairly hefty gain for him. And of course, he'll be able to run to the end of the race with some fuel on board with this. But he has to make it to pit lane to do that. He has to get there. He has to have worked his fuel numbers out perfectly, because this is going to be tight. I would say we might hear that Audi have a little bit of a cough and splutter when it reaches its pit box in a couple of moments as he gets down Conrod again. Nice long downhill section. Lots of speed here. You can clutch it pretty much from the chase here.
Yeah, we'll jump on board with him. There he is on the clutch. Come on, he's just going to go around again. No. So even saving into pit lane, that's how close it is.
We're just so quiet because we're listening to hear if there's any cough or splutter.
Yeah, absolutely. Just wondering if he's going to get a cough.
Oh, there it was.
Yeah, there it is. Oh, he's run it as close as he can. That was coughing. Anyway.
So Ross Rizzo in the lead of this race, actually running a car on full pelt at the moment, and Jack Winnes, Luke Turner, and Dennis Katarik and Luke Turner, sorry. So it's the BMW, it's the German experience at the front. We've got the best of the German racing cars at the front of this pack at the moment, the best of the German GT cars with the BMW and the Mercedes. And Stuart not biting, obviously.
No, I'm just letting that one go right through to the keeper.
Well, you know, it's okay. Being third in a 3-horse race it's okay for you. Well, fourth actually, because there's the Audi out there, isn't it?
Yes, so, there is, yes. Anyway, never mind. The Porsche will make its resurgence.
The Porsche will return.
Absolutely,
it will have its day once more.
It has suffered this season. It's nowhere near this level of behind these cars. But anyway, that's the rules and that's how it works.
That's what happens when you put the engine behind the car. It tends to not work very well. So, front engine cars are leading this race and showing the true way for a racing car to be, with the BMW and Mercedes, of course. But we've got a great battle up the front. It is Ross Rizzo ahead of Jack Winnes, Dennis Katarik, Luke Turner. John Merritt trying to keep up in the beleaguered McLarens at the moment. He's got Andrew Dyson all over the back of him in the Ferrari. So the McLaren has sort of dropped off in favour a little bit as the season's gone on. It was very much the favourite in the early stages, but now it's just dropped back a little bit. It's no longer everybody's favourite at the moment. It's sort of lost a little bit, but it's still got some pace, especially behind John Merritt's hands.
Yeah, and that's the way the rules are written, of course, which works quite well. Top 5 drivers can't change cars at all, but other drivers can switch their ride during the season. We've got an attempted move at the front here for the lead, and Winnes does get it done, closes that out. Up into Griffin, so he's got the job done there. Moves into the lead ahead of Ross Rizzo, who's now got Dennis Katarik to give a hard time as well.
Maverick Benson and Alex Court both come into pit lane for their third stop of the evening. So we are seeing those strategies start to play out now, and I think we're going to see Jeff Connell's strategy really pay off here. Get the feeling he's absolutely timed this one perfectly, and once again pulled an absolute blinder with some amazing fuel strategies.
Well, he managed to save 4 laps across the 2 stints on our race leaders. So they pitted on last on lap 19, he pitted on lap 23. So that is the cumulative benefit of the strategy, and that will see him home, you would think.
Yeah, he should be...
Forces a move on here. Gets the switch back here. Ross Rizzo trying to make sure that he doesn't lose that spot. Looks like Guitaric's closed it out though. Rizzo will try here. Down into Murray's. Not able to get it done. So a couple of spots back there for the BMW. I wonder if that is just Rizzo driving to a number as well. I wonder if he is planning to just be able to shorter stop that TTR entered car and just try and make it to the end. It's Trent Tasman Racing.
Yeah, I would say it's not possible for him to make it to the end on his current strategy, of course, but he can, of course, make it a lot longer and try and get a little bit less fuel on board to try and have a shorter stop as Luke Turner gets through on Ross Rizzo there, up through Griffiths. Nice move there by those two. But yeah, just trying to make that stop as short as possible, take on a little bit less fuel, lose a little bit less time in pit lane. A couple of seconds in pit lane can get you a couple of places on the track.
Of course, at the moment, 2.5 seconds, the gap from our leader to Ross Rizzo. So what we really would want to do here is not lose the tail of Luke Turner. We give him a little bit of fuel saving as well, just being able to get the toe down the Conrod straight into the chase. So if he gives that up, then that's going to hurt him a little bit. BMW pretty strong through this segment of the track as well, but so is the Mercedes. So sort of these two cars, even on the seesaw, be across the top, not the strongest, not as strong as the McLaren or the Ferrari, but down the straight, down Conrod, they are absolutely the leaders.
One of the great things about this track and GT cars, of course, is they have their strengths and weaknesses at different spots. You know, you've got a few cars that are very strong across the top, a few cars that are very strong down the straights, and it really makes for exciting racing. We've seen it time and time again here with cars in the Busters. Oh, Tarek gets a big snap of oversteer as he gets a bit too much curb going through Murray's there, but manages to save it once again. But it does make for an interesting sort of racetrack when you've got the strengths of one car feeding off the strengths of another. So it really does add up to great racing here, because if you can get strength across the top of the hill, usually that's a good spot to have it. But if you've got straight line speed, you can sort of generally keep on the back of the other car and then make a lunge here and there.
Hey, welcome Jesse, good to see you back racing in pass. Good to see you back racing, but good to see you in pass too, mate. Congratulations on your win in that race earlier this evening. So just in the background as well, John Merritt has succumbed to the pressure from Andrew Dyson, so Andrew Dyson now up into 5th position. See if there's anything he can do to chase down this lead pack. He may well catch Ross Rizzo. He was a second faster last time around. Rizzo definitely driving to a number. No question about it. Last lap around at 2:04.8. Luke Turner 2:03.9. Dyso 2:03.7. So we'll see if that fuel strategy plays off. He's still within 2 seconds of the lead. So it could work out. 2 seconds of fuel though. It's a lot to save.
It just depends how much they need to pop in there, so they're going to try and eke it out as long as possible. I'd say they'll probably be coming in about 2-3 laps maybe. So if they can get an extra lap, they might be able to save a little bit of extra fuel and cut that down. It's just going to be timing it right to the end of the race as well. So Rizzo comes in now, actually. So Ross Rizzo's decided to come in now. That's not because he's necessarily out of fuel. It could just be because he is deciding to come in now to try and get some clean air for himself, so he doesn't have to race anybody, so he can set some quick laps out on his own. with some clean air underneath his car.
John Merritt in as well.
So this will be interesting to see how it plays out and see where Ross Rizzo comes out compared to Jeff Connell. That's going to be one I'd like to keep an eye on. Jeff Connell just coming down to Murray's now. So Connell just going through Murray's corner right now. Ross Rizzo still in pit lane, just leaving now. Jeff Connell side by side. They're going to be side by side as Rizzo exits pit lane here, I'd say. No, Rizzo is just out in front of Connell. So Connell, couple of seconds behind. So he's managed to gain a few positions, but he's not got the lead. So Jeff Connell a little bit behind there. So Ross Rizzo stationary for 11 seconds. So that's the main thing to look out for. So 11 seconds of fuel for Ross Rizzo, 16.8 for Jeff Connell to get him home to the end of the race. So this could be the strategy that pays off for Rizzo, because the other thing is those drivers out there won't know how long Rizzo was stationary for. So they'll have to sort of guess it. When you're in pit lane, sometimes you can sort of see the car moving. You go, oh, okay, they just took a little bit less fuel, things like that. When you're out blind like this, you sort of just have to guess what's going on.
Yeah, I think part of that as well came from just how much Jeff Connell had to slow to save fuel. Saw that gap down to 5 seconds between the two. As we see a move on here, Katarik's trying to get down the inside, down into the chase. He hasn't quite managed to get it done. He's pulled back in behind Jack Wittes. You can see him there on the screen too. Just off to the side. He tried to put the pass on. Don't be too surprised if we see him pull out here. We do. He's just not quite far enough up. He's had to be conservative. Oh.
Just catching. That was a big breath moment. Zach Smith there just having a moment on the exit. Just ran deep into Griffiths. Was just recovering there, and the leaders came up on him very quickly. Just caught him by a little bit of surprise. No harm, no foul there though. Good driving by all of them just to avoid an incident.
He's very close.
Daiso in pit lane now as well in the Ferrari. Sebastian Vandel coming into pit lane from 5th position. Vandel having an absolute blinder out there tonight. So Daiso stationary for 9 seconds. So that's going to be interesting to see where Daiso comes out. He's just ahead of Jeff Connell.
To keep our eyes firmly fixed on this battle up at the front, this guy's still going to have to make one stop. So you can see Connell behind now. You can see, my apologies, Dennis Gitarik in screen 2 now. He is all over the back once again, and Jack Wittes across the top of the mountain. There's some lap traffic coming up as well, just to add some spice to the rack.
This is exactly what Rizzo will have wanted as well. These two fighting means that they're going to slow down a little bit. Catching up to lap traffic as well. That's going to slow them down a little bit more. This could be good news for Ross Rizzo.
Might be able to get away with it down the straight here and get past these lap cars. Headlights ablaze on Wittes' car, making sure they know, but he's just not quite catching them quick enough. They head down into the chase. There's not going to be a lot these guys are going to be able to do because they're too wide. They're battling away as well. And goodness me, he just manages to get past. Good driving there from, I think that was Angus Chappell, sorry. As in they come, Wittes and Gitarik both into the lane.
They're sticking it out there, though. So close between them in pit lane. They're absolutely going to the line there. It's brave stuff. It's not easy to absolutely attack that line, of course. You do have the limiter, but it doesn't always help, as Derek Ortiz had a big moment down towards Hell's Corner. Just caught the outside curb, gone around into the wall on the inside. Big spin for Derek Ortiz.
So a race leader, effective race leader. We think Ross Rizzo now comes across the start-finish line, and you can see there that Wittes and Gitarik are both out of pit lane, and there is in the background Ross Rizzo, Andrew Dyson right behind him. So this is the battle for the lead of the race. Jeff Connell in 7th. Strategy hasn't quite got him there tonight. So it is a race to the finish now, and of course he may be slightly fuel compromised. He may have to save a little bit towards the end of the stint. These gentlemen will not unless they've got their refueling number wrong, and this battle is on at the front.
Yeah, tenths of a second between Gitarak and Widders in pit lane. Widders stationary from 9.3, Gitarak at 8.9.
Oh, you got wide into the wall there. Widders just got a little wide.
This battle is absolutely tiring them both out. This is where fatigue starts setting in, of course, in a long race like this. When you're battling this hard as well, it all comes to play. And the other thing they've got happening right now is that sun is setting, and it is getting very dark out there on the track. When you're driving in this kind of condition, it does just tweak your eyes a little bit. It just gets a little bit harder to see, and you do just lose a little bit of the visual clarity, especially across the top of the mountain there where those shadows are laying.
Gitarak here goes down on the outside through the chase. Side by side we go. There's room given. If he can hold it up there, he's going to be able to get it done, and he does. Gets well ahead. He'll try the crisscross here if he can. Jack Widders not able to get back, but he's holding that position. He's going to have the preferred line as they head down into Murray's corner. Is he going to get it back? It looks like he's going to. He goes a little deeper under brakes. Gitarak here tries to switch back himself. Great driving from these two. Rizzo will be happy as well because it's going to be holding them up. That gap behind them has narrowed. It's now 2 seconds.
Turner's just going to appear behind these two cars now. He's going to be side by side with Gitarak as he comes out of pit lane. Almost makes contact there between Kurt Turner and Gitarak. Those two so close to each other. Turner right back into the same position, sitting behind his teammate Gitarak. This battle has been race long. It's fantastic stuff out there tonight. Meanwhile, just in the AM class, we've got Mitchell Bolton in the lead in the McLaren, just ahead of Sebastian Vandel, with Guy Leach in third position.
So how is this going to finish at the front? It is intense.
Yeah, this battle it's been going on all race long. It's been some fantastic driving. We have seen so much close action between these, well, I'd say 3 cars, but we've had 4 or 5 cars at some stages up at the front, all battling it out for the lead of this race. But Widders has been the driver that has managed to keep it up at the front for the most time at the moment, although Gitarak and Turner have been really trying their best. Gitarak trying to get past him across the top of the mountain there. Not the easiest place to pass, especially when you get through the dip. Forest Elbow is definitely an opportunity. Couldn't quite make it this time. Down the Conrod straight again we go. Will he be able to do anything through the chase? Tries for it on the outside, goes on the inside this time, crosses across through him. Going to be on the outside as they get down to the next corner. Side by side action is...
Oh, they're both off. Gitarak goes off now.
For them both. They both left it a little bit late, ran wide, and that's going to put Turner up into second at the moment. Turner's going to go battling on. Rizzo is right behind him. Look out for Andrew Dyson as well. Dyson is right there for Gitarak as well. There are so many cars up at the top of the field. It is so close at the moment. This battle is definitely on. We're going to have 2 laps remaining, 4 minutes. This fight will go down to the wire.
We'll stick with these 2 camera views. You can see there the battle for third now between Rizzo, Gitarak and Dyson. Jack Widders got loose and went down onto the dirt. I think that probably took Gitarak's attention away a little bit. He was wondering if he was about to be plundered, but he wasn't. And he ran wide and lost the position himself as Luke Turner here looks to go down the inside of Widders, not able to get it done into Griffin's Bend. Gitarak does get the move done on Ross. Rizzo moves himself back up into third into Griffin's. Andrew Dyson moves up onto the back of Ross Rizzo as well. So this 3-way battle for third continues.
Just a little bit further back, Mitchell Bolton, Jordan Peter and Sebastian Vandel are having a good battle as well. So the lead for both the AM and the Pro class is on at the moment. It is a real battle going on between so many cars. So on the right-hand side in screen 2, we've got the battle of Mitchell Bolton, Jordan Peter, Sebastian Vandel. Sebastian Vandel trying to make it up the inside of Peter, can't quite do it there. Up in screen 1, we have Widders and Turner battling it out. There are fights all across the track at the moment. Just trying to keep action and keep your eyes on them is the hard part.
Absolutely, we'll do our best to bring you it. As they get out, down, that camera angle is not it. That is the roll bar in the middle of that Mercedes-Benz. Doesn't show you anything. We'll stick clear of that one. So it looks like things have settled a little bit, but Gitarik, you can see that in the background. We'll just switch to this one as they come down through the chase. Gitarik has Ross Rizzo all over the back of a Pulse tuning entry. Andrew Dyson in a Phoenix Smokers entry there as well. Watching, waiting, anticipating.
And they're trying for the move. Down into Murray's. Goes for the crisscross, gets underneath. Widders can't quite get the drive off the corner. Widders goes to defend, blocks him off the hell corner. Turner's going to have slightly better turn-in. Widders just gets back in front of him here. The fight is still very much on. Up on screen 2, you can see Jordan Peter still battling it out with Bolton and Vandel just behind him as well. So this battle is very much going on as well. Vandel making a pass into Murray's, can't quite do it this time round. Up at the front, Widders has got Turner all over the back of him as well. Again up into Griffiths, can't quite make it. Griffins, sorry.
Almost looked like contact there. Great driving from both drivers as we head up into the cutting. Go, better drive out there for Turner. So he's closed up again. Behind them, Gitarik has Rizzo right on his bumper and Andrew Dyson as well. So they've dropped off a little bit off this pack as there looked like there was a move there for Jordan Peter.
There was. He's lost a little bit of speed, and that's given Vandel the opportunity to try and make a move. He decides better of it, getting up to the cutting. Decides discretion is the better part of valour there. Not a bad decision to make. It's a brave person to pass in that back corner. Meanwhile, Ross Rizzo is all over the back of Gitarik at the moment, and that's allowed Andrew Dyson to get in on this battle as well. So this fight is definitely not over. A single mistake up the front could cost you a fair few positions right here. These guys are nose to tail at the moment, and it is the final lap. So we are very much getting to the end of this one.
So defending going on. He's going to look for the switchback here. Luke Turner, if he can get it. It's been well driven by Jack Widders all night, defending very well. He'll hold his line here. He'll try and get down to the inside and hold on Murray's corner. The idea for Luke Turner will be to do the switchback if he can. We're actually going to get one more lap here. There's going to be one more lap.
Jordan Peter losing it through Forest Elbow. Big spin for him. So that's taken him out of that battle. So it is between Bolton and Vandel now for the amateur class lead, as up at the front, Luke Turner's made the move on Widders.
There is a change, and Dennis Gitarik got better drive out of the corner as well. You can see here he's just trying to hold his position in the middle of the track. Jack Widders made Gitarik go the long way around, but it turns into a three-wide battle, and Ross Rizzo could be the benefactor here as he moves up into P3, and Andrew Dyson gets a good run as well. Gitarik could lose 2 spots here and end up down in P5 as we're only a quarter of the way through this final lap. Gitarik defends in the background there on Andrew Dyson as they head up through the cutting.
Dyson just eases off as they get up to Reed Park. That was a brave stance from Dyson. Just couldn't hold it for the whole part there, but good driving there. That really put the pressure on Gitarik. Dyson really trying his best at the moment.
So across the top of the mountain now for the last time, we make the run down through the skyline towards the dipper, I should say. Very close to the wall there for Luke Turner, just looking to try and squeeze everything out of the Pulse tuning Mercedes-Benz. He's got to get a good run here out of Forest Elbow. It's really important so he doesn't sacrifice too much speed, because he's going to be punching the hole in the air. It's going to be Jack Widders who's going to be the benefactor. Ross Rizzo now firmly entrenched in this battle. You can see the weaving all over the track. I've never been a big fan of that. I reckon it slows you down more than it helps the guy behind you. Anyway, off on the inside here, the Lamborghini's just maintaining its line. Turner down into the braking zone. Widders, is there anything he can do? He can't. He's got to try and poise it for the last turn. We're going to have a race to the finish here around Murray's corner. What can we do? They're not side by side. Good defensive line taken by Turner. Widders tries to have a look down the inside. Throws it down there, can't quite get it done. Oh, there's a big slide. It's a drag race.
Widders gets the win.
Widders gets
Rosso
it.
in second, Luke Turner third, now Tarek in fourth, Dyson in fifth. That was down to the line. Commiserations to Luke Turner there, just got a little bit too much curb, absolutely caught him out.
And Turner,
Meanwhile, with the amateur class, Mitchell Bolton is going to be in the lead, coming across the line, managing to defend against the past two champion, Sebastian Vandel, who's had a ripper of a debut here tonight in the AM series in AUSPROAM, getting a P2. And it is Alex Court who's going to come home in third position, win the After Dark Racing entry. Alex Court coming home in third for the AM class.
let's have a look at this finish here. It should switch up cameras, just bear with us. It's going to make a liar of me. It just gets a slide there. There it is there. Gets a slide there, and that's the drag race. And it meant that Jack Widders, by 2/100ths of a second, took the win, with Luke Turner in second and Ross Rizzo into third. Well, Carl, I reckon it's probably fair to say that that is the best racing we have had all season, and that's no mean feat given how good the season's been. That is unbelievable. Not only the closest finish have we had, but I don't think they stopped racing for the entire 1 hour and 10 minutes.
No, that was absolutely intense racing there. That was one of those drives that really, I imagine all of those guys are going to be absolutely beaming ear to ear. It will feel a little bit rough on Turner. Obviously, you never like to lose a race on the last corner, but it's a fantastic drive from all of them. They had a great race through all of the field as well. We had some amazing stuff. As see my timing just update. Luke Turner getting up into P2.
No, yeah, he was in P2.
Oh, okay. Sorry, my timing was out. It said Ross Rizzo in P2. Sorry about that. Joys of timing screens sometimes. But yeah, look, that was an amazing finish. Amazing racing throughout the field. Yeah, just what we love to see. Some of the big gainers tonight were Guy Leach, 7 positions gained, Maverick Benson, 8 positions gained, and Matthew Johnson, 12 positions gained, Danny Webster, 14 positions gained. So a few big gainers through the field, just keeping it steady through the race. Quite a few people finishing in the spot they qualified in as well, but if you look at it in that respect, it doesn't look like much happened, but when you actually see that race, there was so much action on track.
We're going to have quite the groupie session in the comm box, guys. I'll have to ask you to move aside and make plenty of room because there's going to be a number of us get in here. But I'm just waiting for Ross Rizzo to jump in as well. Alex, thanks for joining us as well as the second place getter in the AM series. Ross Rizzo's just gas bagging up in the chatty room. Carl, I don't know if you can just drag him down so we can get the post-race interviews underway.
Don't think I have that availability on.
It's a long way. I'll see if I can... Oh, no, he's decided he's going to jump down anyway. There he is. Rightio, well, I think we've got the podium here, Carl, for the Pro Series. Take it away.
Yes, wow, okay, so let's start with the third place finisher for Pro, Mr. Ross Rizzo. That was a heck of a race. Congratulations on P3. Great little strategy from yourself there. And very, very, very fun last little bit of the race through that final corner.
Yeah, that was awesome. Really, really enjoyed that. I was really aggressive on the strategy. I was just trying to short fill the car just enough to come out behind the Mercs and then leech off their draft. But that didn't quite work out in the final stop with me taking the lead. But certainly threw the cat among the pigeons and certainly made me a bit more of a nuisance than I probably deserved to be. So that was fun. And I had a grin from ear to ear as I was seeing them battle for the final stint and then pinching P3 off Dennis. I mean, just really, really enjoyed that. So thanks so much, guys. That was so much fun.
You could see that, well, you could hear the smile on your face right now, just the excitement in your voice there. We did see it try a little bit of a different strategy there with that slight alteration there. Obviously, free stopper tonight for you guys. We saw Jeff Connell manage the 2-stopper because it's Jeff Connell. I mean, you know, what can't he do with fuel? Were you thinking about trying that sort of strategy, or did you decide free was the best?
Yes, it was certainly possible, but probably not viable from an outright pace sort of perspective. You had to drop a lot of pace over the course of the race, and while fuel saving isn't as difficult around here with the medium downforce setup, it does mean you're off the throttle for a long time, and it makes you vulnerable to dive bombs. So I just thought mitigating the risk, and of course it'll be 1,000 times more fun. And I certainly got more than I bargained for by going flat out. So definitely was the way to go. But absolute credit to Jeff for trying it. I knew he would. I'd kind of be disappointed if he didn't, to be honest. But I hope he enjoyed the race doing that. But it was certainly a bit of a stretch to try and do it. So well done to Jeff doing that.
Worries. Look, we're glad you had fun. You gave us a fantastic race to watch, Ross. Well done again. And before I let you go, the usual thing of shout out and love to sponsors.
Yeah. So thanks very much. To the top 4 there. That was just great. So Dennis, Jack, Luke, and Andrew, awesome drive. And a big shout out to Sebastian Vondel getting the wild card and putting it in P2 in AM of all things. It's awesome work, dude. So a big thank you to Trans Tasman Racing, Virtual Racing School, TP Race Design, Card FX Model Cars, Parenzo, and X Trim Motor Trimming. And thanks very much for the season at AUSPROAM. So thanks very much FGM eCast and the sponsors who make the series possible.
Thank you so much, Ross. Congratulations again for a great finish to your season, and I'm sure we'll catch you again soon.
Thank you.
Next up, we'll head to P2. Luke Turner. Congratulations and commiserations there. A very, very wild final turn to your race.
Yeah, thank you. Just before I forget, congrats to Jeff and Jack and Ross. Guys, I'm still beaming, even though I came second. What a race. I'd rather come second and have a ding-dong battle like that than win by 10 seconds. So memories of season 3 have suddenly come back, and man, that was awesome. Just awesome. Super stoked. Well done, Jack. You raced hard, but you raced fair, mate. That was good fun.
Well, I was about to mention that one. That race must have taken it out of you because you were battling from start to finish.
Oh, we were, and it was cat and mouse. And, kudos. I know Ross, the human computer, I knew he would have been playing the strategy game. So I short-filled at the first stop to try and jump the boys and see if I could pull a gap and lose the draft. But every time we kept coming out, that BMW was in the draft, and we had a massive car advantage tonight. I'm not going to lie about that. But I generally go pretty well at Bathurst. I put a bit of time into that. But it was seriously cat and mouse the whole way. That first stop I short fueled. And we were all playing games, right? So when we came out after that first stop, we all went hard to see if we could drop Ross. And then we couldn't because all 4 of us were in the draft. So then it's like you could tell we all backed off to try and save some fuel. It was unreal. Awesome fun. Awesome.
Yeah. Just about to say, a huge car advantage. You had the BMW and the Ferrari there as well. 1.2 seconds between all 5 of you. So, on paper, it doesn't look that way, but it definitely looked like that Mercedes had that little bit better drivability out there at the mountain tonight.
Yeah, it's a weapon in a straight line, so we really needed to break the draft. And when we finally, because I knew Ross had short fueled at the second last stop. So I knew you'd have to take on more fuel. And so while we did break his draft, then we all started fighting and battling ourselves. So it made it hard. So when you got the draft at Bathurst, it helps you massively, but still kudos to them. But the Merc is actually quite a handful over the top. You've really, because I drive the BMW normally, it's a weapon down through the S's and into the dipper. And you've really got to muscle that Merc through there. It gets pretty hairy.
It looked like you had a bit of understeer at some points tonight. Didn't look too easy in the twisty bits, but you managed it very well.
Yeah, it was fun.
Congratulations, Luke. Congratulations to Dennis Guterra as well, putting on great race, your teammate. But before I let you go, the usual thing of shout out and love to sponsors.
I don't really have any sponsors, but the dude to paint my car, Pulse Tuning, he does, Cito does all the go-kart engines, and obviously Echuca Toyota, my teammate John. So yeah, thank you to those dudes, and thank you to all the guys and the sponsors that put this on, and to FGM eCast. It's nice to finally be back up here. I've had a bit of a rotten season.
It's great to have you back. Hopefully we'll see you again next year.
Thank you, guys.
And next we will head to the Pro Winner Jack Winners. Congratulations on the victory there tonight. You had to battle every single lap. You almost had to pass somebody up the front. Was not easy up there, was it?
No, battles were constant. It was such an amazing race. I don't think I've ever had so much fun on the simulator before. The Merc, I think, definitely had a bit of an advantage, especially in that straight line. But yeah, like Luke was saying, it was a nightmare over the top of the mountain.
Yeah, it's something we noticed early on. It looked like he was struggling a little bit, especially down towards the chase a couple of times, just getting a turn in just right sometimes. Was that the case for your end, or was it just a little bit of getting it in the right place at the right time?
Yeah, most of it just come down to I wanted to make sure I got the decent run onto the straight and didn't make any mistakes there, because I knew if any mistakes happened there, that would be the end of me. And yeah, I think a lot of it, I knew they were behind me for a while, and I was really trying to save fuel in front of them and kind of balk everybody up. But yeah, it all worked to plan in the end.
No, it worked to plan. I mean, you got the win, which is the best way to get the race done. Obviously, that last corner was fantastic stuff. Seeing that little bit of a wiggle from Luke at the end there, that must have had your pulse racing.
Yeah, congrats to him. That could have been anyone's race, and I think he deserved to win it just as much as I did, or anyone else in that group. So, yeah, just a bit of luck finally come my way at the end.
No, congratulations. And yeah, in motorsport, there is no such thing as luck. It's all about the what you do with the car. And you did a great job tonight. Before I let you go, the usual thing of shout out and love to sponsors.
Yeah, just a shout out to Mum and Dad back home in Adelaide. And yeah, Autohouse Storage and Commodore Wreckers.
Thank you so much. Of course, best state, Adelaide. Everybody's favourite. Thanks, Jack.
That's it. Thanks, guys. Ta.
And finally, for the pro class, we're going to head up to the champion, Mr. Jeff Connell. Congratulations on a well-deserved championship.
Thanks, mate. It was a terrible night, but a good season. So, yeah, it was bittersweet tonight. Like, I was gutted to not have the pace to be up in that pack having a fight. But, yeah, it's been an awesome season. So I think I've been on the podium more often than not. So, yeah, it was good fun.
Well, you tried something very different tonight with the two-stopper. It didn't pay off for you, obviously, too well. It's still P6. Most people would be pretty happy with that. Obviously, yourself, you would want a little bit more, and you saw that fighting up front and probably would have wanted to be right in the middle of that. But getting that strategy to work, how hard was that through the race?
It was pretty hard, but through practice and qualifying, it was obvious I was, me and the Audi were just nowhere near the pace of the top 4 or 5, so I had to do something different. And I don't think the strategy was too bad, but the best strategy is pace, and I had none of that. So to finish 9 seconds behind is probably pretty good considering the pace tonight.
It looked pretty sketchy across the top of the mountain, clutching it in a little bit there, I must say. Not something I'd want to do lap after lap, but you managed to make it work. Obviously, it's been a good season as well for you. It's been a season where you've just absolutely nailed strategy and just got the pace right as well.
Yeah, the strategy in the wildcard rounds helped, and then just in the GT3, there probably wasn't much strategy this year. They changed the fuel the fuel numbers in the sprint rounds, and it probably dulled it down a bit and took the strategy out of it. So yeah, it was just probably good that I had a bit more pace than last season through the GT3 races and good consistency, so it worked out well.
Well, that's it. I mean, it's been another solid season for you, and it's another victory in the championship as well, which is, it's a hard thing to do in this series. There is so much competition, and again, you come out on top.
Yeah, it's pretty surprised, with how many good drivers are in it. So, and how competitive it is. So, yeah, quite surprised to win, to be honest. But got some new gear halfway through the season. That helped with the consistency a little bit. And, had a lot of fun.
And now the scary thing is you've settled into that gear, so it's, that's a worrying thing for everybody. Jeff Connell is going to be back on full pace.
Yeah, the new pedals have made a big difference, and the wheel doesn't make me any faster, but it probably helps me from spinning out less. Doesn't stop me from spitting out, but yeah, it definitely makes it a bit easier to control if you get sideways. So yeah, the new gears definitely helped.
It makes it more comfortable for sure. No, congratulations on the championship, Jeff. Of course, the usual thing of shout out and love, I would say, to sponsors, but your car is very much pretty much a blank slate at the moment. Hint, hint, if anybody would like to get in touch with you. But congratulations again, and the usual shout out and love.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, no sponsors, but yeah, thanks to everyone that helped me build the new sim, and thanks to Sam and Cardo and everyone that put this show on. It's been awesome again. This series has got something for everyone, you know, from pros, amateurs, real life pro guys, supercar guys, and then the newbies and the slower guys in the past two as well. So yeah, it's an awesome series for everyone. Thank you guys for the awesome broadcast every week, and the series sponsors as well. So we appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Jeff.
So there we
Thanks,
go.
mate.
That's the pros run and done. Let's head across to the M category now. So we've got Alex Court. We'll kick off with you. Coming home in P3 tonight, and some good battles throughout the evening as well.
Yeah, thanks, boys. Congrats to everyone in the pros, and thanks to everyone behind the scenes for putting on the series. Yeah, look, I'm stoked to be up on the podium tonight. So Bathurst is definitely a favourite track of mine, that's for sure.
Yeah, we in terms of fuel strategy, obviously a few different things to get done tonight, but. How did you go with yourself in terms of strategy? Was it just a matter of running with the pack and seeing how you get out, or did you have a fuel number in mind you were running to?
Luckily, I had one of my teammates managing fuel for me, so I just had to concentrate on driving. But yeah, look, we went with the three stop strategy, and yeah, it paid off. We got it down to a T, so I think I only had like half a litre of fuel left at the end of the race.
And moment of the season for you, if you've got one?
Oh, this one, definitely.
Beautiful. I thought you might say that.
100%, yep. So, yeah, really good way to finish the season off with a podium.
No, it was a fantastic drive from you, and a good battle throughout the night. So just the usual shout out and love to sponsors and the like.
Yeah, so start off with DSL Welding, Corp IT, Dragon RC, Tree Minded, Mod Tint, Racing with Autism Australia, and AA Designs, and a quick thanks to all the boys at After Dark Sim Racing. A shout out to Gary Bradshaw in New Zealand, and everyone from Racing with Autism Australia.
Yeah, fantastic cause. Well done indeed, and a solid position inside the top 10 for you as well, Alex. Look forward to seeing you back next season, next year.
Thank you.
Move on to Sebastian Vandel. A double congratulations for you tonight. Seb, of course, up here in the Pro-Am, having secured Pass 2. So congratulations for being the inaugural Pass 2 Series champion, and just followed it up with a lazy P2 in the amateur class as well.
Yeah, it was pretty good racing down in the Pass 2 with Brett Baker and my teammate Blake. And then it was quite good to come up and race with these boys, and yeah, I'd have heaps of fun, and I've learned heaps.
Well, that's good to hear. And of course, MSR taking out the 1-2 in Pass 2 as well with the result for Blake tonight. So a very strong performance there. But look, obviously, moving up next season, a really good indicator of what you might be able to bring to the Pro-Am.
Yeah, hopefully I can do well next season. Really looking forward to it, and I'm going to start trying to improve during the break.
Well, that's a scary prospect if you're going to try and start improving, given that you finished in P9. You're running up as high as P5 at one stage during the evening. Did you think about trying to save enough fuel to get away with just doing the two stops, or were you always just going to run with the pack and see where you ended up?
It didn't really cross my mind, but if I was going to do it, I would have had to save a lot of fuel because I wasn't fuel saving at any point in the race.
Oh, well, it's certainly a very good performance, Seb. So again, congratulations on taking out the first Pass 2 championship and on your result tonight, P2 in the amateur category. Just the shout-outs and love to sponsors and the like, please.
I'd like to give a shout out to all the people behind the scenes that put on this series. They do an awesome job and it's really fun. And just shout out to my sponsors, StrataCore, Shockwave Signs, and Legs Custom Computers.
Fantastic, Sebastian Vandel. Congratulations once again as we move on to last but very much not least, Mitchell Bolton, who has taken out the win in the amateur class here tonight. Mitchell, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, it was a bloody tough race there. I didn't realise guys were two-stopping, but that I'm guessing Jeff was doing that because he was didn't have a very cracking pace at the start. I thought, oh, look at this, got pace on him. But yeah, no, I went for the 3-stop. But yeah, like Sebastian said, I didn't really even realise that was an option. But they would have had to save pretty hard, I'd imagine.
How did you find the McLaren fair? It was Carl and I were commenting. It was a fan favourite at the start of the season, but it sort of petered off towards the end there.
Yeah, I jumped on halfway through. Just couldn't get that Audi sorted out, and yeah, when I first jumped into it was a rocket ship, but they slowly, took performance out of it. But no, it was definitely a better balanced car. It was a bit lively over the top here at Bathurst, but no, it was a good fun car.
And plans for next season? Will we see you return?
Oh, most definitely. I need to come back and try and see if I can win this amateur thing.
That sounds good. And last but not least, just some shout-outs and love to sponsors and those that have given you support throughout the season.
I just want to thank everyone involved in putting it on. It's an awesome series and a lot of clean racing. Yeah, really enjoyed it, and I'll definitely be back.
It's good to hear. Absolutely look forward to seeing you back again, Mitchell Bolton. Congratulations on the race win here at Mount Panorama, round 10 of the AUSPROAM Sim Series to close out the season. I noticed as well, Sam Lehman has made his way into the comm booth. Of course, he has the golden key, which gets him around just about everywhere that he needs to be. Sam, the end to another season, season 5. What are we now? 2 years into this journey, 5 seasons down.
Yeah, it's unreal, isn't it? Who would have thought when we started this out, it very nearly didn't get past season 1 for a moment there, and now we are 5 seasons deep and had some pretty awesome drivers driving with us. So it's really humbling, and can't say thank you enough to everyone who's been involved in the series, whether it be as a driver, as an assistant, as a sponsor. It's been an amazing year.
You obviously haven't had a chance yet. You won't have had a chance yet to go back and have a look at the end of the race. I think that the end of this race is probably the best that we've seen, which is amazing to say at the end of season 5. Those last couple of laps there with Jack, Luke, Ross, Dennis and Andrew all fighting for the lead of the race, which is fantastic and really summarised very well how the whole season has been.
I have been back and watched it. Ross was on the channel the whole time it was happening, so I had to go back and watch the last lap of the race straight away. And how good was that? That was unreal.
Yeah, a fantastically close finish. I guess probably at this point in time, you've got a fair few people that you wanted to reach out to.
I do, and just from the top. Thank you to you, Stu, for your support and broadcasting the series and being a sponsor in season 3. So for our entire year, thank you very much. And Carl, you've been part of it as well. And of course, Scotty's not with us tonight, but thanks to him as well. To our sponsors, starting with Simrigs, Derek and Phil. So if you need anything to do with your rig, those are the guys to start with, because they have the gear, and a bit of my rig is made up of their gear, and it's awesome. So that should be your first stop. Obviously, CTC been with us for a couple of seasons now. Hayden Jackson at HJ Plant Repairs been with us from the top, and cannot thank Hayden enough for his support all the way through. Phoenix Smokers coming on for the last couple of seasons. Isaac with Index Designs coming on for this season. So and I chuck my little brand in there, 93PC. But at the end of the day, it's been awesome to have such support, that support from so many people, and really good. I'd like to a quick shout out to the guys who helped me with the stewarding every week. So Adam Funslow, Lachlan Capel. It's one of those moments where you start drawing a blank. How bad's that? Andrew Hayes, Luke Fitt, Isaac's been in there helping as well. Scotty's been in there helping as well. So an amazing and massive thank you to you guys for giving up a bit more of your time every week to help us make some decisions. And I can't thank you enough, because without you guys, the series doesn't work.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm pretty sure Echuca Toyota got in there as well.
Yep, Echuca Toyota as well. That's a shocker, isn't it? My boss will have me tomorrow for that.
I was just trying to save you from that one there without sneaking through. I thought maybe I might have just missed it. So, but yeah, no, Echuca Toyota, of course, coming on board as well this season. So, I mean, the seasons continue to expand. And yeah, I've got to echo your sentiments, of course, as well about Carl and Scotty when he's been available, helping me out with the stream. So, but no, definitely continue to get stronger and stronger the seasons as they progress. But definitely looking forward to the break. I think that's probably fair to say for everyone involved.
Yeah, so everyone gets a well-earned break now, and I'm looking forward to it too, just to step away for a little bit and chill out. But certainly over the next month or so, plans will be put in place. Well, there's already sort of some planning going on in the background for what 2022 looks like, and as always, can't wait to announce those things as they become finalised and crystallised.
Absolutely. So I think that unless there's anything else that we've missed, Sam, brings an end to the stream for the night, and then an end to the season, and in fact FGM eCast year as well. That just about does it for us. We'll be a few bits and pieces throughout the balance of the year, but equally we're off to take a well-earned break from streaming and everything else in between. Reintroduce ourselves to our families and do all the things that we've got to do. But to everyone who's supported us throughout the year, thank you very much. And of course, we'll be back next year with a slightly revised roster, but we'll be back next year, I should say calendar, slightly revised, but we will look forward to seeing you then. So across the festive period, have a great time, eat way too much, don't drink quite as much, and we look forward to seeing you on the other side of this one in 2022 when we resume streaming. Around about February, I think we kick things off again, so look forward to seeing you then. So on behalf of the whole FGM eCast team, your E plays for pace, thanks very much for your support, and we will see you next year.